Good evening. Hello, everyone. Hello. Come
Hello.
on in. Come on in. So
Hi,
we'll give it,
everybody.
yes. Thank you for tuning in. We'll give it, Natalie, maybe another 30, 45 seconds for time purposes, and then we'll go in and get started. And so
Okay.
we'll allow other people to join in and like, share. Maybe I go on my page and share.
Hold on one moment.
Hello, good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in on this monthly. Oh, somebody's tuning in on this monthly Facebook Live. The numbers are going up, Natalie. So that's a good thing. Please like, share, invite others to join our Facebook Live. Is a great topic tonight. I will be having my dear friend talk about family vision for 2020 as we close out the month of December. We want to talk about the importance of having family unity, but also how can you as a family create a vision board or unity as far as for your household. And so I'm excited. And so for time purposes, I'm going to bring my dear friend on, Natalie White. We graduated high school. We're from Lima, Ohio, Bean City. And I'll allow her the opportunity to tell you about herself. How did she come about with Envision Me Planning, the Planning Butterfly, and the purposes of what she does? And then we'll move right into the importance of family vision, and especially going into 2020. And so, super excited. So, Natalie, why don't you go ahead and start?
Hey, everybody. My name is Natalie White. I am the CEO and founder of Envision Me Planning. On the personal note, I am the planning butterfly. What all of that is basically we focus on goal setting and planning for your personal life. So everything that has to do from your career to your business to your family, and any goals that you have, we basically hear out your vision and then we help you make a strategic plan in order to accomplish it. So we have workshops, we have planners, all of our materials, everything is designed. We have goal journals, notebooks, everything is designed in order to help you clarify your vision and then create a strategic plan in order to accomplish it.
All right. So, Natalie, I had her come on because it's important to go into 2020 with a clear vision, and especially with your family. You can't move and you can't make changes because many of times, personally, as parents or in the corporate world or different things like that, we begin making changes, but we never consider the family. And so I thought it would be important to join in, have someone that's an expert, a planning expert, that can talk about preparing the vision for the family. Okay, so she will be talking about the importance of family, but also the importance of creating a vision board so everybody can move as a unit. Go right ahead, Natalie.
Yes. So the first step in planning that we want to talk about is actually reflection. So before you even think about starting your vision board, before you sit down as a family, when you do sit down as a family, I think it is very important that you have family meetings at least once a month so that everybody can be heard, everybody can know what's going on, everybody can be aligned. But in that, for 2020, the one thing that you want to do is kind of gather the family together and say, hey, let's kind of reflect what happened this year.
That's good.
And
That's good.
then, like, the kids can say, okay, this is everything that's going on. And then you can also kind of, you hear them out. They can know what's going on with you. And then you guys kind of talk about from there, talk about where do we want to go. So the first step to family planning or setting your vision for 2020 is to figure out where you at now and kind of what happened this year. Because year to year it's a load, like it's a pressure. So in order to kind of release that, you need to reflect, and then that kind of like clears that slate. And then, okay, this is everything that happened. What do we want differently? And then that from those conversations, you can build a vision for 2020. And it's very important to have a family vision so that everybody's on the same page. The first thing you want to do is do some type of reflection, and that's really just kind of asking people, how did you feel about 2020? When you sit down and talk to your family, like talk to your kids, talk to your spouse or your significant other, just say, hey, how we're sitting back looking at 2019. How was it for you? You know, like what was the struggles for you? And then that way you can kind of get, you know, when you have those conversations, you open a dialogue up so that somebody can say, hey, this is where I really struggled at, and you may or may not know that. So now that you're aware, and you can build a better kind of like a better foundation for your 2020 vision. So first, reflect.
Okay.
And then from that reflection, you take those pieces from those reflection and then build your vision. So this is where we are. This is where we are, and then this is where we want to be. So how do we get from here to here? So all this stuff happened 2019. This is what we want to do better. As a family unit, what could we do? You know, how do we build better relationships? How do we expand communication? You kind of talk out kind of some of those things. And then I also think it's very important, even though you're setting a family vision, is that everybody has what they want to do as well. So your kids get to kind of say, well, I think I want to try this new sport, or I think I want to kind of jump into there. And as a parent, you can kind of look at it overall like, okay, well, I know for this year, I'm going to be traveling a lot for business. So then the other person got to pick up the slack. So that way your family vision or your family planning is a high level overview. This is what we want to do. And then you break that down into how you're going to do it.
So I have a question, Natalie. And so you mentioned reflection. It's important for family to reflect on 2019. But do you think it's important for the adults, whether, you know, if individuals are together or even a single parent, to begin to have an idea as far as what it takes for the family, before have a clear playing field before they begin including the children and different things like that? Do you think they should be on one accord?
Everybody family should be completely aligned. Yes. However, I think that the parents should reflect internally first.
Okay.
Before you bring the whole family together, have your thoughts, because your kids are looking at you for a structure, a build, a flow, the conversation, and how is this family vision? What is this actually is? What are we doing? They're going to look at you for the direction of that. So what you want to do is, before you even try to sit down with the family, take some time to reflect your 2019. And then there is inside of all of our planners, we call the Spoken Harmony Wheel. It is our version of the Balance Your Life Wheel. And then what that does is you take all the areas of your life and you basically say, what is my ideal image for that area of my life? And then where do I rank?
Okay.
So that way you can get something that leads to reflection. So you can kind of do that with your kids, but I would say more so do that as of the parents of the household. Sit back and say, where am I at? How was my 2019? How can I do better? What goals do I have? And then when you bring that topic of discussion as a family unit, you already kind of have a high level core of what it is that you want to do. What the family vision is incorporating everybody into one, so that you can kind of be on the same level.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, because I think it's very important for, as they say, the head to be aligned first, and then go to the children, or those that in the household. And I have another question, because I had a young lady reach out to me earlier in the week asking for advice as far as how do you incorporate family meetings or reflection when it has never been, or the communication is lacking. What would be some suggestions for you in that reflection phase or getting that consistency?
I personally reflect all the time. But you should do a monthly reflection. So even if you're just starting out, for yourself, take some time and sit back every single month. I usually do at the end of the month, and I say, how was my month? So at the beginning of the month, you kind of set some goals. You kind of set what you want to do for that month, and then at the end, you're like, how did that month go? And you're not just looking surface level of did I accomplish my goals. You're looking at, did I create the healthy habits that I need to create? And if I did not do the things, the daily tasks that I need to do, or if I said I was going to do that, really, why did I do that? And then kind of talk, be honest, open and honest with yourself so you can get to the core and the bottom of those issues. And it's really do that alone. So take some time to self-reflect, just you. And then when as a family, you can come together and do it as well. But reflect yourself first and then do it with your partner. Like, hey, you know, when I was in a relationship, I would talk to him all the time, and I would be like, okay, we need to have a checkup. Like, let's check up. So where are we at? How are we doing? Are you okay with the way that I'm communicating with you? What's one thing that we can improve or we can work on? I actually do this with my friends too. I sent a message to all my friends, and I was like, hey, I want to make sure that I'm being the friend that you want me to be. You know, because I know how to be the friend that I want, but I want to make sure that you're getting those things that you need too. And that's the same thing with family as well. When you take time out to reflect, do it internally to make sure that your checks and balances are good, but also check those relationships. It's like taking the temperature, making sure that you're still good. Like, hey, are you getting from me what you need? And then is there one point to grow? Like, is there something that we could be doing better? Like one of my friends, she was like, well, we don't spend enough of time together. So let's create one day a month where we just hang out with us. And sometimes when you do that with your kids, you can find the same stuff. Like, okay, you know, what's one thing that I can do better as a mom? Just like your point of view. I ask my oldest son all the time. I'm like, okay, so I just need to know how it is. What's your point of view with me parenting you? So is there something that you need? He wants to dive into investing. So he let me know, like, I want some information about how to invest. And I just linked up with another lady who does that. And I was like, okay, well, I'll connect you. But I would have never known that if you don't ask. So, you know, you have to kind of get out of your comfort zone if you're not really big on constructive criticism. Don't take it personal, and then take the pieces that you need and apply. It's really just, how do I be my best self all the time?
And I like that, not to take it personal, because in order to get to a point, you know, because every family should be looking at their vision and how to grow, right? And so as parents, not to take it personal, because if you ask your children questions, they're going to be honest with you. And so the thing is, as a parent, you have to set that tone. And so, like that is that she has monthly meetings or monthly reflections. I meet with my daughter on a weekly basis. But however, I already established the boundaries. When you come and it's time for us to communicate and you want to give mommy constructive criticism, it's already laid out. Hey, you're gonna listen, right? And you're going to speak respectfully and get your point across. Or I even tell her to take notes on what is really bothering her so she can be clear. Because many a times I have learned through trial and error, and you know, and growing up, that hey, especially teenagers, they have a voice, and we may take it personal. Hey, don't talk to me that way, or who are you? I do this, I do that. But at the end of the day, it's about each individual's need, right? And so, first thing when you're doing reflection, make sure you set clear boundaries, and not to take it personal, because as a family, you should be coming together for vision and unity for 2020. You want to become better. There's an outline, or there's a set goal that you want to see your family at. Okay, and so set those guidelines, and it's very important. Set the boundaries as parents as far as how family meetings go or how the structure goes. When I'm speaking, you listen, right? And I will listen to you. Make sure you set those clear boundaries, and also get into a place that is a safe environment, because there's no reflection if everybody's bickering and arguing. Okay, and so be honest, and as parents, don't take it personal, because as your kids grow, they have their opinions, they have insight that we may not like. And we do our best as parents, and especially, you know, coming from a single parent and different things like that, I do my best, but also it could always be better. Okay, because you want to go into 20 putting your best foot forward, and as far as a family, because one can't move unless the other is behind, right? Okay.
And then you have to understand that your communication level is not your teenager communication level is a teenager communication level. So if you're expecting them to communicate on an adult level,
Yes.
like I'm not going to ask my, I'm not going to ask my 19-year-old to talk to me like I talk to the people that I work with. I'm talking to adults, you know what I mean? And then I'm not going to talk to my 7-year-old the same way I talk to my 17-year-old or my 19-year-old, because they understand things differently. So I need to put it on their, on their level. And I can't expect Noah to be like, hey, mommy, I want, I have to kind of ask him specific questions, open-ended questions, so I can get him to explain a little bit more instead of just yes and no. I have to widen that out. I can just ask Isaiah what you want. And even with him being 19, it's still kind of I can't just, what do you want exactly? I'm like, hey, I was thinking about this. What do you think about this? To kind of because that's the way that he communicates. Yeah. You definitely need to be able to communicate with your family in a way that they need to hear it, so that you can get the responses that you need. And that's all. That
is good, Natalie. That's good. That's a good point. Meet them where they're at. That's good, Natalie.
Yes. Yes. And then once you do your reflection, be very open-minded when you start talking about the vision at first with your children. So as you sit back as the parents, and you say, okay, we want to work on finances this year. Mm-hmm. So we're going to cut back. Right? So you're bringing to the table to the kids, hey, we are only going to do one family vacation this year. We're going to kind of, pack our lunches for the next school year. We're going to be able to say, because we want to go, we want to buy this house next year, get out of the apartment, right? Yes. But once you ask I would say, do not come with your vision first. Ask the kids, hey, what is there some things that you want to do? Because you want to be able to take an account what they want before they hear your desires. So because my son Isaiah, if I tell him I want to save money, and then I turn around and ask him what he wants for Christmas, he's going to tell me nothing, because he's like, no, mommy, you're trying to save. Yeah, I really want to know what you want for Christmas. So I had to learn how to just be like, hey, what do you want? What do you want to do? When I started, I work for Honda on my regular 9-to-5. And when I went to Mexico for a project, I had to do 2.5 years. So when we sat down as a family, going back and forth to Mexico for 2.5 years. So when we sat down for a family to have that discussion, I didn't want to just tell them my desires. I had to ask Isaiah, hey, do you still plan on playing sports this year? Is there, are you planning on, because some his school goes out of the country. So I needed to know all of his plans, all of his desires. He's prepping for college. What are all those things that you want to do? So I can kind of take an account of that with my vision. And then how do we make it aligned? So who do we need to bring in to help? Okay. So we brought my mom in so she can kind of help stay with the kids, so that nobody's feeling like they're left out of it. So it's just mommy and daddy, and this is what they're doing. So it's hey, what do you want to do with this year? Is there any new extracurricular activities? And then once you hear that from your kids, you already know what your base foundation is of what you want to focus on for the year. And then you guys can kind of talk about, how do you make it work? So you can kind of come like, okay, well, you can do the sport, but we may not be able to do the over, out of the country thing until next year. Once I finish this, you'll be able to do that. Is that okay? You kind of work in those conversations so they don't feel like they're always the ones that have to lose out. Yes. And then you also don't always feel like you're giving up what you want to do for your kids. You know what I mean? So you got to have that balance. But when you have those discussions, when you have those family visions discussions, and you creating a vision board is fun, especially with kids. When you ask Noah what he want to be, and he says a race car, and he goes find a race car and put it on a little board and put it up on his thing. Of course, I don't know if he'll be a race car driver or not. I don't want to say he won't, but they have fun because they it's their imagination. They're like, imagine I get to be a race car driver, I get to whatever. But when you say, okay, no, what do you want to do this year? You want to play soccer, or you want to play? I do either or, because we're trying to buy a house. So we're playing soccer, we're playing baseball, we're playing basketball. We're not doing both, because them fees is ridiculous. So but we get to create. He gets to create that for himself, and then you also know as a family that, okay, well, he's going to be playing soccer during this time, so I need to make sure I work out all of my extra stuff for my business. My busy times needs to be here, so that I can be available. When to show up for his games and make sure he gets to practice and do the parent things. But they have fun creating the vision boards, and it doesn't seem like it's just the vision of the parents. You know what I mean?
And you know what? And I like that, because it's not, when you're joining in the family, it's not a we, the independence, but it's an interdependence. Everybody coming together for a common goal to improve the family without trying to strip away, but also come in and bring, like you said, balance. So I like that. And yes, vision boards are fun, because Amari and I plan on doing that. And I also plan on going to your event next month too. We'll talk about that too. Yes,
we're like super excited. We're super excited about our 2020 Vision Board Party. Hilton Garden Inn is sponsoring us this year, so we're ecstatic about that.
Yeah,
it's going to be at the Hilton Garden Inn in Polaris. It is January 11th. The tickets are still available on our website at www.envisionmeplanning.com. But just a little bit about the Vision Board Party. This year, we're going to get a little bit more diving into the plan of your vision. So, and not like all the steps, but more so your foundation. So it's fun to put a vision board together, but you also need to know, how do you accomplish those things on your board so you're not carrying it over everything. So we're going to talk about, we're going to do the Boss Lady Vision Board Party more so from a business standpoint, but some of those same principles you apply to your life. So one of the things that we're going to talk about is standards. And then, so I say, clarify your vision, set your standards, and then create your plan. So when you clarify your vision, you get really clear on what you want to do. When you set standards, you're saying, this is the level of quality that is my minimum. So like in your business, when Honda creates cars, they have a level of safety that is for their particular vehicles. So when they source out that part, if a supplier cannot meet this level of quality, then they don't get that bid. You need the same thing in your business. So what's my level of service that I'm going to provide to my customers? In my life, what in my personal life, what's my level of what's my standard for relationships? What's my standard for my finances? I was talking to Isaiah, because he's trying to convert over to adulting, trying to get him on his own. Okay. So we're trying to build his finances. So I told him, I said, well, what do you, because he's always talking about, I don't want to be broke. I don't want to always just work and pay bills. I said, well, it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep. So set a standard of, in my bank account, it's not going to go lower than this amount. That's the standard. So he knows that he can spend up until here. And then I said, and then once you get, once that's good, you're comfortable with that, increase it. So, so we have to create standards in all areas of our lives. And those standards is actually how you kind of create a goal. So if this is what I say my standard is, how do I meet that? So my standard is to always have a certain amount of money in my checking, in my savings account. What do I need to do to get to that? What healthy habits? I need to make sure that I'm not, I am a stress eater and spender. When I get stressed out, I want a candy bar and I want to online shop. Emotional. But if I have a financial goal, I need to make sure that I have other outlets in order to make sure that I don't, I meet my own standard for my own self. Have that with your family's vision as well. So as a family, what's our standard of communication? You know, how are we going to communicate with others? What's the standard? Are we is, you know, when we're frustrated, what do we get to do? Like, okay, so do I get to step back? Do I not? Like, you know, there's no talking back. We're trying to incorporate the yeah, like we need to get rid of yeah. When I say your name, don't say yeah. Let me want to say yes, ma'am, yes, sir. Like we're trying to go back, you know what I mean? But you know, those were standards for me growing up. I wish I would have said what to my grandparents. I would not be here. Okay. So, but that was the standard. Those were standards that were created in the household. We need to make sure that we're creating those same standards within our families. And then what goals can we create to meet those standards? First, get really clear on what vision you want and then set some basic standards. Oh, I'm too loud.
Yeah,
probably one ear.
You got next door. These walls not that insulated. I can get way out.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that. My bad. I'm a little bit too loud. I had both earbuds in, so I'm louder than what I think I am. So first you want to do, so you want to clarify your vision, and then you want to set your standards and then create your goals from there. So we're going to kind of dive into setting standards for your business and dive into setting some personal standards for your goals within our vision board party. But for this session, make sure that you're identifying your standards as well. So what's the basic qualification, whatever that we're trying to do? What's the basis? And then how do we grow from there?
Okay. Now, you talked about standards. Can you talk about goals? Can you break that down? Why is it important for the family to have, after you set the standards and clear rules or foundation of the family household, why is it important to have goals?
It's important to have goals because goals push for growth. If you have no goals, how are you growing? How are you even measure if you are growing?
Yes.
I believe that's I'm not big on content, like not contentment. Like there's, what's that word? Stagnant.
Yes.
Being stagnant and not growing. So in order for you to not get stagnant, when we become stagnant, we get real comfortable.
Yes.
And it's hard for us to move forward. Or something comes in and attack that comfort zone, we don't really want to shift. And if something comes in and attack where we are currently, and we don't create a goal to get to the next level, you actually decrease.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Your standards decrease because that thing came and attacked it, so it's not what it was.
Yes.
And then you didn't want to grow, so you had to lower that standard to maintain whatever mess that is. So when you have goals, you're basically saying, I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to learn. I want to continue to move forward. This is where we're going.
Okay.
This is where we're just going to stay.
Yes.
And that's why you want to have, that's why you want to have goals. It kind of pushes you. And you never know. And the thing about it is fear will hold you so tight.
Yes.
You need to be a little more quiet. Fear will get a hold of you, and you will be in it. And it's not, sometimes it's not the fear of failure. Sometimes it's the fear of success or the fear of change. Like if this does work out, my God, what's my life going to be like? You're going to say, if I really step out and start walking and start living in my passion, then everybody's going to say who you was, what you did, all the other stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Somebody says, that's who you was. How are you doing this now when you used to do this, that, and other? That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if somebody brings up your back. Because the thing about it is, everything that you tried to do, you never probably look back and was like, oh my God, like it worked.
Yes.
You're like, once you step out in the fear, once you step out and you address that fear, that thing is like, it's not bound to you anymore. You know what I mean? You're like, and there's no reason to live in fear. And teach that to your kids. Like you can literally do anything that you want to do. Noah told me he wanted an iPhone. Listen, I laughed at him though. Noah told me he wanted an iPhone 11, and I literally cracked up because he's 7 years old. He ain't getting no iPhone 11 for me. Now, baby, you can get an iPhone 11, but you got to figure out how you're going to do that. Okay?
Yeah.
You're going to have to save all your money. This is how much it costs. Like he asked me, he said, well, how much does it cost? Well, how much do I have in my piggy bank? Okay. I don't want to stop him from believing that he can have anything that he wants to have, but you're going to learn that you have to work for it.
Yes.
Right. And those are things that we want to teach our kids anyway, is that you can accomplish anything that you want to accomplish, but here's how you work for it. Here's how you obtain that goal. Here's how you continue to grow, and then push them.
And I like that. You know what? And let me add to that, because I put it on the screen. Deal with fear. It's important, and especially when you're moving as a family, you have to deal with the fear of change. You have to deal with old traditions that was not effective with you growing up. See, as a household, as a family, you need to be honest with yourself about the do's and don'ts, and examine yourself.
Yes.
Okay, am I hindering myself or my family from moving forward or reaching those aspirations or those things that we know we can? And if so, you need to deal with those fears. And you can't allow the fear of change or fear of what people may say, or the fear of, oh, because I know I had, family and friends, oh, you think you better than us now? You think because you're doing this all? No, I don't think I'm better. But however, I don't want to be complacent. I want to grow. When I'm 50, 60, I want to leave a legacy and continue to grow. I don't want to stay stuck. So it's very important that when you're looking at your vision, deal with the fear as parents.
Yes.
And also get to the point, and also, from a spiritual standpoint, I'm a Christian, and so I have to repent on different things that I allowed to pass on or continue to pass on to my daughter, and correct that. And that's one of the things too. As a family, you got to get honest about the good, but also the bad. What is hindering you? What is hindering your household from going forward into the next level? And one of those things is fear of change, fear of failure, fear of success, or fear that my outside family may look at me a different way, But at the end of the day, it's your household. And that's one of the things that my daughter and I, and now, in a relationship and moving towards marriage, we're being very intentional about our household. Yes, you love your family, you love the outside people, but at the end of the day, it's what the family goals is, what the household is, and as adults, it's our responsibility to cover and protect our children, our goals, and what we've been called to do. And so you have to, for 2020 and beginning now, you have to be intentional with your household. You have to be intentional as far as setting standards, setting goals, setting and being honest, but dealing with the fear, dealing with old mindsets, dealing with beliefs, but getting honest, because you can't do any of these vision boards or vision family meetings if you're not willing to get honest with yourself, but also allow your children to be honest about everything. Right? Go ahead, Natalie. What you said? You had something?
Yes. And the other thing about that is, with your family vision, that's how you partner up, right? Like, you're in a relationship, your husband and wife, y'all come together and you become partners in this thing. But if you don't know what you partner up with, what's the goal, what's the vision, what's our standards, what are we going to do, what do we need to face, how are you partnering with somebody?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So when you both are on one accord, when you both are aligned and you're both like, okay, babe, this is what we're doing.
Yes.
Then you can come together and like, okay, I got this part, you got this part, we're going here. But if one person has a vision over here, like, this is my plan, and then this is your plan, and we ain't coming together saying this is our plan, then I'm going this way and I'm going this way. We're not partnering together. We a house divided.
Walk together unless they agree. So what tips would you give, Natalie, when one person this way and the other person is this way, dealing with the adults or relationship? What do you do? What suggestions do you have as far as how to deal?
I've had this.
Okay.
I've had this happen. We end up not being together. However, it was a conversation because I was very clear. If you know me, you probably know about my goals. You probably know about where I want to go
Yes.
and what I want to do because I'm vocal, especially if we're in a relationship together. Hey, this is where I want to go. So, but I also ask my partner, what do you want to do? Because I can't just keep telling you what I want to do and not taking into account what you want to do. So if you're having those conversations, you know already if you guys are in alignment. Now, it's either a compromise, like, okay, babe, we're going to do 4 years, you in school, and then, we're going to take that page, and then I'm going to be doing this in the meantime, and then after that, I'm going to go ahead and do this, right?
Okay.
Because you can merge a plan together and then work together on that plan. But if you have two people and you are dead set on going opposite directions, you may want to have conversations, other different type of conversations.
Yes. Okay, so everyone have to be on one accord. You have to come to a common ground and compromise for family business. Gotcha.
Yes.
Are there any
definitely want to be able to merge those plans together, and it's very doable when you're open and honest and you communicate and you continue to communicate, because a family vision, a family plan, setting, all that is a constant thing. It's a constant communication thing. You don't just get together at the end of December, figure out what you guys want to do, and then January you create some cute little boards, and then poof, it happens. It's not happening that way. That is consistent conversation. That is, hey, what was our goal for the month? Did we meet that? And if we didn't meet that, why didn't we meet that? We didn't meet that financial goal because I picked up extra hours at work, but me picking up extra hours at work caused me not to come home and cook that dinner. So since I didn't come home and cook dinner, we ordered out and we ended up spending $400 extra on eating out a month instead of saving that. So we didn't meet our financial goal. So when you actually hold those conversations, you can figure out, okay, what we're going to do. Are we going to, set a family menu? How are we going to alternate the responsibilities? Yeah. It's open. You have to have open communication, consistent open communication in order for it to work.
Good. Okay. So open communication. And look, I'm making notes.
And what I want to throw this in really quick. So, because I'm in my reflection mode. I reflect at the end of the reason why somebody asked me, why do I set my vision board party in January and not at the end of the year? The reason why I set my vision board party in January and not the end of the year is because I believe that you need time to reflect before you set goals. So I'm in a reflection mode right now. And so one of the things I had to do was actually my oldest son, I had him when I was 17 years old. So he was growing up and I was growing up at the same time.
Yeah.
So my relationship with him is different from my relationship with my 7-year-old. And I had to I do extra stuff. He gets away, he gets away with certain things because internally I'm like, he didn't have two parents, his dad wasn't around. And so I'm still kind of attacking myself for those things that I cannot control.
Yes.
So I, I'm like holding myself in guilt mode because I had him young and we moved a lot and we didn't have the most stable. So now that I'm doing better, I want to kind of give him all this crap. I want to give him all this stuff to make up. But no, one of my friends was like, no, God, that's okay. God, that is okay. God's not holding you accountable for some stuff that you had no control of. You did the best that you can do, and he is raised now. He is responsible for his own actions. He's responsible for his, decisions. And we're still, I'm still a mom, so I'm still parenting him. Yeah. But he's 19 years old now, so some of the decisions, that he makes kind of falls on him. So I'm in the process of actually releasing that.
That's good.
I'm in the process of releasing that pressure from me, and it's hard because what I found out was I use that for the holes that I have within myself. So there's some healing that needs to go on internally, and I felt good doing something big for him. I bought him 2 cars, he totaled both of them. Now I should have bought 1 car and made him pay for the second. Now he's trying to get a 3rd car. And I'm like, I'm not paying anything, but I still feel guilty sometimes not giving him another car because I want to feel like I'm doing something. I'm I'm a single mom and I'm able to afford to buy a new car, but I did twice.
Yeah. And that's one thing,
so it's a process of forgiving yourself sometimes, and allowing your kids to kind of grow up. And that's a little bit difficult too when you think about that. So as parents, we kind of want to reflect on that as well. So what are some things that I'm doing that may be more of a hindrance than a help? I'm saying I'm helping, but I'm also hindering. And then how do you I'm trying to figure out how do I release that, and allow him to kind of like direct, but not force. Like, I'm not going to tell you need to do this. I'm going to say, hey, this is my suggestion.
Yeah.
I'm going to look into that. But that's, but those are some other things that we want to do in reflection too, is just to make sure that you are not the person that's holding you back or your kids back.
And thank you for that transparency, because we're all on this journey, especially, journey of self-discovery, journey of self-love, journey of self-growth, but also that journey of parenting. And so I just want to encourage every person, every parent, that you have to forgive yourself from the younger you. Forgive yourself for some of the choices that you made, because at the time you didn't know any better, right? And so you can't, like Natalie said, you can't keep operating out of guilt in doing things, because that is a hindrance. You're enabling dysfunctional behaviors with your children, because that can be stressful, as a parent, because I had to get over that point, with my daughter, because her father's not there. And, yes, I have a good supportive system, but when she was younger, or like she said, try to get my daughter whatever she wants, and I bust my butt, but at the end of the day, I had to evaluate as a parent, and especially a single mother, what is the motive and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay, because as parents, it's our job to set those standards and teach our kids how to have the right motives. Okay, because many a time our kids are a direct reflection of us, right? And so when different things are going on, different things are happening, it's because of what they see. And and as parents, don't beat yourself up. Because 2019 might have been, the last couple of years might have been hell for you. But however, you can start today with making better choices.
Yes.
Better with your family, and don't beat yourself up. Begin forgiving yourself, and then you know what? The greatest thing as far as bringing change into the household is being honest. I have the greatest impact with my daughter when I'm honest and transparent. When I tell her, you know what, Amari, I did this out of guilt. I did this because I was angry. I made this decision, and I shouldn't have said this because of this. And and that is an example that helps Amari to understand, and your kids will appreciate and respect you. Like, okay, I'm not alone in these different decisions. Okay, now I can have a better understanding why my mom did this, and now we can grow. And so when you're looking at this family vision, get honest with yourself and be transparent with your kids. Like I told my daughter, because a lot of things are changing, for 2019, getting married and all this stuff is going on. But I had to get honest with my daughter, and we had to both deal with fear. But we can move forward to 2020 if we still operating in the same capacity and dealing with fears and fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, and different things. So don't beat yourself up going into 2020. Mess up, confess up, and move forward and set these goals. Okay?
Yes. Agreed. And it's not an easy thing to do. Like, it's like, it's like checking yourself consistently. Like, did I do that? Why? Okay, so you want to do this. Why do you want to do that? And being honest with myself on, is my intentions completely pure? Am I doing this for self gratification, or am I doing this because I'm really helping him out and he really needs this? Like, this is a need. This is not just, am I teaching him something? Is he growing? Or is it just because I want to be, the parent that did everything and had it going on, and I'm not. So, it was kind of crazy doing that part of myself. I try to self-reflect the whole month of September. So when I was doing my family portion of it, it got real because I told God I didn't want to carry a lot of stuff into 2020.
Yeah.
2019 was extremely hard for me,
Yeah.
and I'm not taking that over to 2020. So
Yeah.
I was just like, I need to be as clear and transparent, and I need to get to those cores of the stuff that I need to heal from, so that when I do walk, when I'm out here and when I'm moving, I know that I'm not carrying this dead weight.
Yeah.
So it's very important to be extremely clear with yourself, be transparent with yourself, and make sure that that your what your true intention of that is. Be honest. Like you said, you need to be honest, not just with you, but also with your kids. Like I had
Yeah.
to like say, no, like, yo, you may not have it the greatest, but we had it pretty good. Like we I did the best that I could. And where you go is on you, not on me. Now
Yeah.
I can help you get to wherever you want to go. I support you and I love you, but your next steps, boo, is on you.
Yes. And that is true. Our job is to raise them to make the best, healthiest decisions ever, right? And
Hmm.
and
Yes.
we do the best that we can, you know. And when they get of age, they have the decision to make better decisions, or they can hold on to resentment, but that's on them because you did your part. And as parents, you did your part, even dealing with even young adults or your adult children. Yes, it's the repairing mode and healing mode, but as a family, what is the vision that you would like to create for them? But recognize, like I like how Natalie said, yeah, I don't treat my 19-year-old like I treat my 7-year-old. You see, as parents, you got to recognize,
Right.
okay, your 19
Hmm.
year old is not 7, so you can't be treating him like that. You got to start treating him as an adult and giving over those decisions. So as parents, if you have young adults that's still in the household or still interacting, you need to treat them as such and stop treating them as 7, because you may end up with resistance because you're still treating them as if they're 7 years old and they're grown. Okay, and so
Right.
resistance that you may be facing in your household because you're still trying to treat them as little kids, and they're not. As they grow, you start
Hmm.
teaching them responsibilities, and that's what is very important for family vision. Like Natalie said, she has a 19-year-old and also a 7-year-old, so she takes it from two different angles, right? But also comes
Yes.
together as a
Yes.
family to bring it together to meet everybody's needs. And as a parent, you have to
Yes.
be willing to get honest about that.
Because we're all still in one household, so it's this is the family unit.
Hmm.
So we need to make sure that every family member has a point of view. Every family member's voice is heard. Every family member has a goal for themselves, a vision for themselves, and then let's bring that together. So what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? And then how can we help each other
Hmm.
accomplish that goal? And then
Yeah.
this as a family is where we're going. So how does that incorporate with your individual goal? So, and one thing about
Yes.
it, when your kids know what you're trying to do, they're a little bit more understanding.
Hmm.
Like, yo, we're trying to buy this house, so we're not buying this extravagant toy. What I can get you though is this dollar Hot Wheel, just not the track. You know what I mean? Like, but you have a reference point. Like
Yeah.
you remember when we all sat down and we created the vision board, and I put the house on the vision board, and this is what this is what we're saving for. That's why we can't do this. So you have a point of reference to kind of go back to. It keeps you
Yes.
on track. It keeps you focused, but it also keeps the family focused and aligned with what they're trying to do. And if
Yes.
something major comes up, you guys can come back and sit down together as a family and say, hey, we have this. This is
Yes.
where we said we wanted to be, but this is the thing that's come up. What's everybody's point? What's everybody's point of view? What's everybody's suggestions? And how can we attack this together as a family and still kind of focus in on our end goal? Or do
Yes.
we need to adjust it? Do we need to push it back? But then we're all still aligned and on one accord, and we're all moving together as a unit. Your family is a unit, even though it's different, different people, different pieces.
Yes.
It's still a move. It's still a unit, and you guys need to move as such.
Hmm. And like I said, Natalie, good point. When you mentioned a vision board, the vision board is a reference point for the family, and to go back and
Yes.
reevaluate because life happens, right? Things happen, that may be outside of your control, but as a family unit, if you're able to go back to the drawing board, go back to that board, or go back to that family meeting and realign and readjust, that just continues to build better relationship, better communication, and everybody's on one accord. Because as a family, if one is out, if one is not in agreement, the whole household is out of order, right? And so I like that. I like that. I like that, Natalie.
And then, you know, little kids, once you tell little kids something, it's like ingrained. So they'll remember way before I remember. Mommy, remember you said we were so and so and so and so. So when you create your vision board, put it up somewhere that you can see it. Put it up somewhere that everybody can see it. So ours is in the living room. So it's up in this, you know. So put it up so that everybody can see where, you know, see it is. They can walk by it. They can look at it. And it's kind of a consistent reminder. Like, this is what we're working on. You know, it has a piece of everybody's goal on it.
Yes.
So, you know, every family member can kind of see, like, one, as a unit, this is us. And then, oh, look at my piece right here. You know, I'm doing that, or I started that, or, you know, so it kind of helps.
Yes. Now, do you have any other pointers or suggestions as we wrap up? As far as
say that one more time, I'm so sorry.
I said, do you have any other tips or strategies for the family as we wrap up, as far as the family vision board?
No, I would just say have a conversation, like, you know, do the reflection, set some standards, create a vision board, and then talk about the plan. So reflection, talk about your guys' standards, create the vision board together, and then start to work on the plan. Would be the 4 steps. If anybody has any other questions, they can email me. Our email address is planit@envisionmeplanning.com, and I'll reply back.
Okay. And how else
can you can slide and you can message us on Facebook. All of our social media is @EnvisionMePlanning or @ThePlanningButterfly. Butterfly. So that's Instagram and also Facebook. Twitter, we're on Twitter at EnvisionMePlan.
And can you also share, if anyone doesn't have any questions, we're going to wrap up, but can you share about next month event where you're having it again? And you mentioned it earlier, but can you tell individual if there's still tickets available and how they can be a part of the vision board planning?
Yes, so our vision board party is January 11th, 2020. It is at the Hilton Garden Inn in Polaris. Tickets are available on our website, which is envisionmeplanning.com. If you are on Facebook, you can search the event on Facebook, and it is the 3rd annual Boss Lady Vision Board Party. And it is for all the ladies to come out. We're going to have a super great time. We're going to talk about all the things that we talked about today. It is for everybody. It is for if you are starting a business, if you have a business, or even if you have personal vision and you just want to get clarity on that, you want to set a strategic plan and foundation to hit the ground running. So if you are looking for a change in 2020 and you want to start the year off right, go ahead and purchase your tickets to the Boss Lady Vision Board Party. In the next couple of days, all the attendees who have their current tickets to Boss Lady Vision Board Party will receive a template from me, and it will help you start with the reflection process and the clarifying process. Bring that to the Boss Lady Vision Board Party, and we'll take it from there.
All righty. If anyone don't have any questions, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Natalie, for joining me on my Facebook Live with the Family Vision 2020. I love you. And I'll talk to you after the broadcast, but thank you. And bye, everyone.